Who is Keir Starmer? And what does he believe? A man with no favorite song, no favorite book. A man who doesn't even dream. What would someone like that do in power? He told you he wouldn't raise your taxes. He told you he'd put country before party. He promised accountability and transparency. Well, he's been Prime Minister for over a year. And since then, Britain has suffered because he simply doesn't know what he's doing. He had no plan for Britain's economy, so he and Rachel Reeves decided to pay for their borrowing by taxing everyone else. Pensioners with his winter fuel cut, farmers with his family farms tax, businesses with higher national insurance. The results? Catastrophic. Inflation has doubled, food prices are soaring, unemployment at its highest since the pandemic, over 150,000 jobs lost, and Britain's debt climbing out of control. He promised to smash the gangs, but had no plan to achieve it. Small boat arrivals are at record highs, and now he wants illegal immigrants moved in next door. To you. Hit by a series of disastrous resignations and sackings, his transport secretary resigned for fraud, his anti-corruption minister forced out under corruption allegations, his homelessness minister quit after making her tenants homeless. Angela Rayner, gone. Caught evading tax. And Peter Mandelson sacked for his links to notorious paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Chaos. This is Keir Starmer's government. Open borders, an economy in freefall, a weak Prime Minister, mild scandal, no plan for Britain.
So my name is Ayub Khan. I'm a barrister by profession. I'm a member of Parliament for the constituency of Birmingham Perry Bar. I've been invited to this event. This is obviously an event that's happening across the UK in promoting this new project. The people behind it are those that created Barrier Town. This is known as the VADA project, meaning a promise. There's track record behind the organization that's doing this construction, and they're looking at making affordable properties in Dubai, which is obviously a central hub in modern times. So me being here, it's important that I visit Dubai and meet the key stakeholders which are behind this project, because ultimately, when you look at the British community that wants to either have a second home, holiday home, or those that actually want to build a new life in Dubai, they want to have people that have close community connections here, people that have integrity, people that can vouch for big projects, because of course there's going to be always this reservation where people have invested and have lost a lot of money. And so that is something that I'm keen to ensure doesn't happen, and I will work with whoever I need to work with to make sure that we can deliver not just to the organizations that want to provide a service, but to those people that are going to buy into the service, in this case new homes, new lives and a future.
करते हैं लंदन में। आज हमें यहाँ पर बीटी जो है प्रोग्राम मलिक रियाज का वादा के नाम से प्रॉपर्टी दुबई साउथ लॉन्च करने जा रहे थे, तो यहाँ पर इनसे मुलाकात हुई, सोचा हम इनसे भी बातचीत कर लेते हैं क्योंकि आपके शहर में आए हैं और कुछ
तो
बातचीत।
पहले तो बात ये है जी, वेलकम। हमें भी खुशी है कि आप हमारे शहर आए हैं, और हम ये कहेंगे कि आई होप यू हैव अमेजिंग। किसी चीज़ की कसर नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये हमारा फर्ज है आपके लिए, और आते रहें।
जी बिल्कुल। आज थोड़ा सा इवेंट जरा डिफरेंस है, तो ये प्रॉपर्टी का जो है मलिक रियाज साहब एक इवेंट यहाँ पर लॉन्च किया है उन्होंने, जो दुबई में अब अपना जो है वादा प्रोजेक्ट के नाम से शुरू कर रहे हैं। तो आपका क्या ख्याल है कि ये लोगों को वाकई या पाकिस्तान से बाहर भी कहीं इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए?
आई थिंक एक बात तो बहुत क्लियर है कि जो दुनिया है ये ग्लोबल विलेज बन चुका है। जो हमारी कनेक्टिविटी है वो बहुत बढ़ चुकी है और बहुत आसान हो चुकी है। तो ये नेचुरल चीज़ है, किस तरह होंगे। अगर हम यहाँ पे खड़े हैं, बरतानिया 5th लार्जेस्ट इकॉनमी इन द वर्ल्ड, लेकिन उसके बावजूद 120,000 लोग जो हैं, 1,20,000 ब्रिटिश सिटीजन दुबई में रह रहे हैं।
Okay.
हमारा ट्रेड जो ब्रिटेन और दुबई का है वो 21 बिलियन से ज्यादा है। तो कनेक्शन है। तो अगर वो मलिक साहब ये काम कर रहे हैं तो आई विश देम वेल। ज़रूरत होगी कि लोग जो वहाँ पे आबाद हो रहे हैं, उनका एक्सपीरियंस जो है 30+ ईयर का है, तो that again is good. So I hope this project जो उन्होंने आज यहाँ पे लॉन्च किया है is successful.
अच्छा, ये तो हो गया प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड। थोड़ा सा मैं सियासत पे भी बात कर लूं। बिलावल भुट्टो जरदारी जो है वो अपने वफ्द के साथ आए और आप लोगों ने उनको डेलीगेशन को होस्ट भी किया पार्लियामेंट के अंदर। आपका क्या ख्याल है कि बिलावल भुट्टो का जैसे पहले अमेरिका जाना, फिर बरतानिया में आए, तो यहाँ का इवेंट कैसा था उनका?
ये पहली बात आई थिंक आई वुड से लाइक दिस कि हमें तो हमेशा खुशी होती है कि हमारी जो पाकिस्तान की लीडरशिप है किसी भी पार्टी से हो, हम उनको हमेशा वेलकम करते हैं। पार्लियामेंट में हम वहाँ बैठे हुए हैं। हमारा काम ये है कि जो ब्रिज है ब्रिटेन और पाकिस्तान का, इसको मजबूत और मजबूत किया जाए। और जो मसला इस वक्त चल रहा है, आपने देखा है कि किस
The louder he talked of its honour, the faster we counted our spoons. Keir Starmer is clearly in spoon counting territory at the moment. He came into office promising to be honourable, decent, different, to bring probity back into public life, to put the principles of public life back at the heart of government, to update the ministerial code and to root out the corruption, the dishonesty, the sleaze that he accused the Tories of not only overseeing, but being part of. Well, now we know that was all humbug. We know it through Peter Mandelson because Peter Mandelson has long known to be a dishonest man, somebody you basically could not trust, whose whole modus operandi was not to tell the truth. But he's not the only one, is he? That when we think of the people who have left this government, we have Transport Secretary left because of a criminal conviction for fraud. We have a Housing Secretary who left because of an issue relating to her taxation. We have a Housing Minister who left because she was evicting tenants. We have a minister who was overseeing corruption, found guilty of corruption in her related country of Bangladesh, where her aunt was Prime Minister. We have sleaze throughout socialism, throughout the Labour Party, throughout the appointments that Keir Starmer has made. And I was really struck today by the one person who went out to support him on the media round. So, you know that normally cabinet ministers want to go out. They want to go out and present their policy and be the spokesman for the government. It raises their profile. It may help them in a future leadership contest. It's seen as being loyal, helps them potentially to get a promotion at the next reshuffle. Ministers normally vie with each other to go out and defend the Prime Minister, to put the best gloss on what is going on. But not now, not at the moment. They're all silent, they're all sitting on their hands, and some juniorish minister has to go out to carry the can for what is going on. And who was it today? Today it was Jackie Smith, Baroness Smith, as she now is, I think, of Morven, where, as it happens, the best water comes from, but that's not really the point. Do you remember Baroness Smith of Morven, Jackie Smith, when she was Home Secretary? Because she had resigned over an expenses scandal, whereby carefully arranging her property portfolio, or her accommodation arrangements would be a more accurate way of putting it, she was able to say that her constituency home was her second home and take over £100,000 for expenses whilst she was living in her sister's property in London, which she said was her main home. The Standards Commissioner found against her. He didn't ask her to repay the money, but he found against her, and also found some expenses that had been claimed, including for pornographic films had been claimed improperly and shouldn't have been paid for. Jackie Smith resigned as Home Secretary in 2009 because of a sleaze scandal. Who appointed her to the House of Lords? Who appointed her to be a minister? None other than Sir Keir Starmer, the man who stood up and said he was whiter than white. You know, the word candidate comes from the pure white toga worn by ancient Romans when they were putting themselves up for election. It's meant to indicate a degree of purity. And Starmer lived off this. It was his whole approach in the House of Commons. Think back to the sneer he gave towards Boris Johnson over a little bit of cake. And yet this is the man who, when it's come to his own appointments, to the people he has had around him, has been quite willing to appoint people who have scandals in their background. Several have resigned. One of them today was defending the Prime Minister, and she herself was rehabilitated by him. Her political career restarted, having ended in the 2010 general election, even though she resigned because of problems with MPs' expenses. And this seems to me to be treating voters with contempt. It thinks that they're stupid and that they don't notice and that you can say one thing and do another, and it's all fine because the voters aren't concerned about this. So whilst we've been looking at Mandelson, there's been a feeling that this is a one-off. It's only Peter Mandelson, it's not the others. But it really is. And it's not just things that they have been found guilty of that are formally sleaze. And we discover that Peter Mandelson's business was still lobbying for contracts for firms in relation to things that the British government had a say over as he became ambassador and organising meetings for Sir Keir Starmer. And questions need to be answered about what went on in terms of the business activities that Starmer was involved in promoting whilst he was visiting Washington. In a very busy schedule, he managed to see a private company that had been advised previously by Peter Mandelson. We need to know about that. We need to know the details. We need to know if the company made money out of that, Mandelson's company made money out of that, and whether any of that would have gone to Peter Mandelson. We obviously need the inquiries into Peter Mandelson to be carried out. But we need to recognise that this is not a one-off. It is a pattern of behaviour. You see, Keir Starmer thinks that the end justifies the means. He thinks that if he appoints people, that's fine, that his own honesty, his own probity is a cloak for the dishonesty, the sleaze of others, and therefore he can get away with it. But he fails to see that the sleaze he adopts, the sleaze he appoints, affects him. And of course, we then think back to the things that he's been directly touched by, the suits, the free tickets, the fact he paid some money back for some freebies that he'd taken that he felt that he oughtn't to have taken in the end, the free dresses for his wives. There is an extraordinary sense of entitlement surrounding Sir Keir Starmer, and it's not good for government. First of all, he should apologise for what he said about Boris Johnson, because what Boris did was nothing, was small potatoes, small beer, compared to what he has done and who he has appointed. I think that would be refreshing. But secondly, he needs to recognise that he has thrown stones in a glass house, and the glass house has now smashed upon him. And that, I think, has done real damage to the British body politic. If you come into office saying you are going to restore standards, the one thing you have to do is restore standards. And if that's what you're going to do, you must only appoint people who have the highest standards themselves. It just doesn't wash when it turns out that so many of them have had to resign for various reasons because of their own scandals. It's not good enough to appoint somebody to ministerial office who had to resign because of an expenses problem, where she was found to have done things wrong by the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. No wonder he's in difficulties, and today he's had people rally round him other than the leader in Scotland. And we'll see what comes of that. I still think he is in terminal difficulty. There's nothing he can do, even if he remains nominally Prime Minister. But we should recognise that Keir Starmer is actually at the top of a pyramid of sleaze. He may not have done particularly egregious things himself, though some of them are pretty disreputable in my view. All the freebies were too far, too much, too greedy, so much more than anybody else, more than double anybody else. But he has allowed sleaze to infiltrate the body politic in a way that is much worse than anything done by the Conservatives. I think that's what means he is, and always has been as it turns out, unfit for office. As always, thank you very much for watching.